Okay, this is Humanities Lesson 2.3, the week of November 4th. The assignments due this week are Student Activist Activity 2.3, which we'll be going over together right now, and I need at least one of your reading or writing logs for the artifact collection next week. So, the objectives of this lesson are: I can identify the key elements involved in student activism so that I can be aware of societal issues that matter to me and my community. I want you to think back to the activity we did 2 weeks ago about your community. Who is your community? What are the issues that matter to you? And lastly, you'll know you're successful when you can explain the societal issue that matters to me and explain why it matters. So in activity 2.3, do you guys all have that pulled up? So this is what it looks like. I did an example for you so you can see one. So this was mine. I did it on a different video. We're going to watch the videos together because they're blocked on your YouTube, so we'll watch them all together. So what we're going to do is we're going to watch the videos first. The videos are all from this weekend. We are living in a really exciting time where there's a lot of student activism, a lot of student protests going on. So everything you see in these videos are from this weekend. I think I started in Pakistan, then we go to Lebanon, then we go to Hong Kong, then we go to New York. I feel like there's another country. So we're going to watch these videos. It's no more than about 15 minutes with the video. I'm going to show you mine and my process when I went through filling it out. We'll watch the 3 together and I'll show you the whole activity. It's a long activity, so I don't normally talk this long, so I apologize. So this was the video that I watched for mine. Ridge wallet is the answer. Okay, so this is Pakistan, and this was this weekend.
This frank flag is dominant because it represents Maulana Fazlur Rahman's party, a politician and cleric who leads hundreds of religious seminaries. He began the march from the southern city of Karachi and made many stops on the way, gaining people and momentum. Fazlur Rahman has encouraged people to reject the results of last year's election in what he calls a selective government. Opposition parties.
So when you watch this, there's some keywords I want you to listen for. So they named his name because you're going to have to do all the research. These videos are not going to tell you who are the allies, who are the oppressors, who are the targets, but they're going to give you some clues. So you want to listen for the main speaker's name, and you want to listen for what they were against. So he already mentioned anti-government, so that's going to give us some clues. So these videos, again, are not going to solve your answers, but they're going to be the beginning of the clues to do your research for the activity.
Because of the ineptitude of the government, the economy is weak, and there's more unemployment, especially among the youth.
Unemployment among the youth.
That was not change. This is the real change. Change will come. It will bury the politics of magic and superstition, the politics of lies and U-turns. Participants have been told to converge near the main gate. The numbers kept increasing as we drove through the parked vehicles. Security officials have been telling us for about 18 kilometers this crowd stretches on both ends. This is by far the largest crowd that we've seen in the Rani capital, and arrangements are being made to stop them from entering the red zone. The red zone is an area of Islamabad that includes government buildings and the Supreme Court. Containers have been welded together in front of Parliament.
The red zone, so that's a place where government happens, Parliament, where there's commerce. A lot of the things you're going to see in a lot of the places protests take place are places like this. Why would you take place and why would you want to protest in government offices or where money or where there's a lot of big business? Why would you want to do that?
They see you.
So they see you. So if you were to, Sonny, if you were to plan a protest in San Francisco, where do you think would be a place that people could see you? Downtown, right? Would we do it now to Richmond? No. What about the Golden Gate Bridge?
Yeah.
What about the ports? So the ports are where they bring in all the goods. You know, Oakland, when you see all those cranes? Okay, so just keep that in mind. So again, you're thinking about place. This is going back to your final project where you'll be picking somebody and have to talk about all the important things. Protests just don't happen by accident. It takes a lot of planning.
The government says it's provided the venue and expects the protesters to stay where they are. It's employed more than 20,000 security personnel to ensure safety. The Prime Minister's team says his resignation is out of the question. He called the opposition gathering an attempt to avoid addressing corruption. Maulana Fazlur Rahman has issued a deadline for the government.
The deadline was Sunday, and they didn't meet it. As of yesterday, they were still there.
Not other institutions. The government has 2 more days to accept our demand. People have brought bedding and essential supplies to camp out and say they're ready to stay as long as it takes to ensure the government's downfall.
Remember the videos we watched about Hong Kong where all the people came, they brought each other supplies? So again, protests have this big feeling of community. A lot of people just like to show it as angry people, but it builds a huge sense of community.
We'll stay here for 3 or 4 days peacefully, and if the government does not meet our demands, we'll go for the third option. Protesters are already drawing parallels with what's happening in the Middle East. They say Imran Khan should follow the example of the Lebanese Prime Minister and resign. So far, that seems likely.
Okay, so that was the video I watched. Those are not your options of the video, but I didn't get a lot from that. Okay, targets of oppression. So from that video, I did get that the working youth, right? So I had to do a little more research. So I digged into the president. That's who they want to step down. So his name was Imran Khan. So when I was doing my research, I researched him. And I did scandal, or you put in protest against, and it would give me some more information. So I found out that when he was elected, he promised he would take 1 million people out of poverty. And I think that was 2 years ago, and he hasn't done it. So these people want him to resign for that. I also, part of this is making sure you fill out the activist. And I want to see if you can find somebody that's a youth activist or a student activist, meaning they're under 30. For one of your videos, it's we haven't been able to find one, but the other 2 videos we have been able to find people. So in doing a little digging, Zakaya Baloch, I'm terrible with pronunciations. If anybody knows how to pronounce that, go for it. But they're president of the Student Action Committee because they don't allow student unions in this country. So what I found out when I was reading that was in colleges, they were using surveillance cameras in bathrooms for university students in male and female spaces as a way to observe things. So the universities started rising and say, hey, you can't surveillance us in the bathrooms. Those are private spaces. We deserve privacy, among a lot of other things. So what you're going to see is every place you pick that's protest going on, there's going to be more than one thing. So this column, laws or rights violated. It's a vague column. I didn't know what else to call it, but they want the president to step down for failure to revive the government. They want a fair election. They want unlawful surveillance done on student campus. Mia, what's one thing we could protest right now in the U.S.? Our immigration policy. Sweet. Ariana, what's another thing that's going on in the U.S. that we can protest? Climate change. So what you're going to see is wherever you are, whether it's Hong Kong, whether you're doing Lebanon, whether you're doing New York, whether you're doing Chile, any of these places, there's going to be a variety of issues. It's okay for you to put those all here. You don't have to focus on one issue, because what happens is to get large protests, people have to be upset about a lot of very different things. And that all comes down to, this isn't a good environment for my country. This isn't a good environment for my students. That's how you get bigger protests to happen. So when the laws, rights are violated, that can be multiple things. Allies. So the head, again, after hearing his name, I wrote it down, I did some research, and he's the president of the Assembly of Islamic Clerics. So student groups, Islamic clerics, both main political parties. This was stuff I got from online things. So again, your videos, I'm going to show you all 3 videos. You're not going to get a lot of information from them, but you want to listen to keywords because those will help you with the research. This is a research assignment. Part B. You're going to go to KQED discussions. So you guys have, it's going to ask you for a class code. You're going to sign in using your SFUSD Google. It's a free account. Your class code is listed on the Google assignment. Let me make sure. Yep. EJLQNU. So you're going to use that class code. If you forget it, it's back on there. And what you're going to do is, this is a website that only students can post on. I cannot post on it. I cannot comment on it. It's only allowed for students. And the topic for this one is, what election topics should we cover? So thinking about 2020, you guys might not be able to vote, but you will be able to vote in the next election after that, right? So what are things you want? So in that video, we saw surveillance. You know, we don't want people surveillancing us. We want better jobs. So what are things that you're going to reference from whatever you did your research on that you would like covered in the 2020 election? So it could be something like, I really think we should cover cost of transportation, because if you see what happened in New York last weekend, people are upset and this causes a riot. So in the 2020 election, I would like our president to talk about cost of public transportation. Whatever you're going to talk about, you're just going to reference any material you found in activity A. But first, you're going to find a response. So see, you can see people already posted from our high school. So anybody who is older than a month, you're going to find their response. And it's a response that you find compelling, you completely disagree with. It's a response that you have an emotion with. You're just going to copy and paste it here. And then you're going to respond to that response and you're going to post it on this board. There are some sentence starters here that can help you. I don't know if they popped up on your version, but I can help you. But it could be like, thank you for this share. I really agreed with, or I read your post. Have you thought of? So you're going to respond to that and post it. And then the last part of this assignment is box B. You're going to write your own post. This is where you talk about, in 2020, I would like this topic to be covered with our election. And you're going to say, because you know what? We don't want it to get to the riots. We don't want it to get to this. This is something that obviously matters to a lot of people, whatever it may be. After you post them, you're going to screenshot them. If you don't know how, I will help you, but it's the control box. It's a rectangular box with like 3 lines to the right side. And you're going to post the response you did to the comment you read and screenshot your comment and post them here. This is a big assignment. You will have all of tomorrow to do this. I will help you through this. So let's watch the videos. I'm going to record the videos because, like I said, I don't think you guys can access them. You choose any of these videos. So you guys are starting your assignment. You're starting it now, and let me start to show you the video. So this is video 1. I think this is Lebanon. Again, remember, this is all from this weekend. So this unit is really exciting because there's a constant stream of information we're getting fed. And ads.
Protests in Lebanon are unusual, not just because they've sprung up out of nowhere and because they're leaderless, but also because some here want to end Lebanon's entrenched sectarian system. Today we're here with students from the American University of Beirut's secular college. Here's a little of what they've been telling us.
You're either Muslim, you're either Sunni, you're either Jews, and I want to end this because these labels and these stratifications have really segregated our country on all levels: economic, cultural, demographic, geographic, everything.
So we are a generation that was born in the 90s, and we have no hand in the policies that are now oppressing us. So we feel that those policies come from a sectarian system, and those sectarian system that has been entrenched in Lebanon since its founding is the core reason why we are reaching this today.
All these students are born after the end of the Civil War, and under that system, Lebanon's Prime Minister must be a Sunni, its Speaker of Parliament a Shia, and its President a Maronite Christian. According to these students, that system is no longer fit for purpose. The corruption is evident in every single form. It's in the fact that, we don't know where our money goes. There's so much demand for our money, and we don't know, where we see it. We don't see it in any, improvement in public infrastructure or any of that sort. It just ends up in pockets of our politicians, unfortunately. Now there's this movement that everyone is against these politicians, which is great. The majority of the people want to really come from, they're all against this system, which is something new and something that should happen. The AUB students have now made it to the heart of the revolution in Martyrs Square, and they've been joined other secular societies from Lebanese universities. They have a clear and an optimistic message today. They want to end Lebanon's sectarian system, and they hope the hundreds of thousands of other Lebanese protesters are with them today.
Okay, so that's video 1. This is video 2. And I think this is back to Hong Kong. So again, we saw Hong Kong 2 weeks ago. This is what happened this weekend in Hong Kong. Remember, 15 when he started the organization that was part of this whole founding movement 3 years ago. 15. Going to pause it for a second. So why did they do a bank and a news agency? Hmm? Mm-hmm. Maybe. So you're not supposed to know the answer to this. We were just thinking out loud. So remember, today's goals are to understand what are the elements you need to have social movement, to have protest. So what they're protesting is they don't want China to have control of them. China is a communist country. So that bank was a bank that's owned by China. That news station was a news station that was run by a communist China. So they burned those things, or they specifically targeted those things because that's what they're targeting. So when you see protests, 9 times out, when it's not a riot, there's a difference between a riot and a protest. Grace, what do you think the difference is between a riot and a protest?
The protest is probably more like peaceful, not necessarily peaceful, but it's like protesting something in particular. A riot is just kind of full on.
Correct. Can anybody think of a riot? So what about when sports teams have there been riots when sports teams won and people just like break cars and loot things? Sometimes, right? When there has been the Rodney King, this was way before you guys were alive, but when the Rodney King verdict came out, that was a riot. Riots are not planned. Riots are usually in response to something. They're in response to an indictment, not indictment, something like that. But keep this in mind. So targets of oppression, oppressors, allies. And the reason I'm showing you these videos is those are intense videos, right? Think of if that was your town. Think of if that was San Francisco. It's not a stretch. So we're going to finish watching a little bit of that video. It's only got 2 more minutes, and then we'll move on to New York. Okay, so that was Hong Kong. Back to Grace's point, was there some peaceful protests? Yeah, and then things got confrontational. I mean, it can go either way. This is the last one, and you're going to choose from one of these three. So it doesn't matter which one you choose, but again, you're just trying to get kind of the feeling of what's going on there. And this one, we won't watch the whole thing because it's kind of repetitive. Sorry, well, anybody know what happened this weekend, why they're protesting? Okay, so that's going to be, do you know, Mia? This is Brooklyn. This isn't Chile. Chile, we saw the other ones. Does anybody know what happened in Brooklyn? And then what did the cops do to him? They arrested him, but they did something else. So I think he was 15 and they punched him in the face.
Yeah, I saw a video.
Yeah, they have. So that's the other power of social media, right? We'll be going into that in this unit, but now social media, you get to record all these things. So there's a video going around, you guys will find it, of the cop punching a kid that's your age for not paying MTA fare. It's like if you hopped the BART turnstile, or how many times have you gone into Muni without swiping and somebody pulled you off the Muni and punched you in the face? It was a cop who pulled him off and punched him.